Welcome back to another episode of Professionals Podcasting. In this episode, attorney Jeff Murphy discusses the basics of a negligence claim.
Sure, Haley, be glad to discuss it. It's really, I call this kind of the basics of personal injury law. It's almost every personal injury claim starts with this analysis. Negligence. Negligence is a duty, meaning that somebody has a duty to use reasonable care in a certain circumstance, a breach of that duty, causation, and damages. So you have to have all four of those things in order to have a negligence claim. Let me give you an example of some of the calls I've gotten just over the last year. I've gotten calls from people who fall, that they go into a Walmart and they fall and they suffer a serious injury. And they call me and they want to sue Walmart. And the first question I have is, well, what happened? Why did you fall? And this particular person said, well, I don't know. I asked them, was there anything on the floor? No. Was there anything wrong with the floor? Was there an object on the floor? Was there something sticking out that caused you to fall? No. So in that particular circumstance, there was nothing that the store did wrong that caused the fall. The person just kind of tripped over their own feet. So just because they fell and were injured at a Walmart doesn't mean you have a claim against Walmart for negligence. I also have gotten calls from people that said, well, geez, I was driving down the road and somebody ran a red light and they almost hit me. And, they're a crazy driver and people shouldn't be able to drive like that. Can I sue them? It's like, well, they didn't hit you, right? And no, there was no wreck. And you weren't injured, right? Correct. I didn't suffer an injury. Well, then you don't have a claim for negligence in those circumstances. So a duty, the first thing you have to have is a duty to use reasonable care. A store has a duty to keep its premises safe. Somebody who's driving on the highway has a duty to be reasonably careful when they're driving and to obey the traffic laws. An example where somebody has a different duty is, let's say you are trespassing on somebody's property. You have no right to be there. You're there in the middle of the night. Maybe you're going there to rob the place or commit some sort of a crime. There is a very minimal duty, if any, that is owed by an owner to somebody who is trespassing. So the first thing the lawyer needs to evaluate is, does the person who you want to sue, did they have a duty? And then the next question is, did they breach that duty? Were they reasonably careful or were they not reasonably careful? Did they do something wrong or did they fail to do something that a reasonable person would have done? In those situations, if the answer is yes, then they could be held to have breached the duty. The next thing is the breach of the duty or is the negligence something that caused your damages? So you can have negligence and you can have damages, but if the negligence did not cause the damages, then you don't have a claim. So for example, if you have if you just had back surgery and you're recovering from it, and a month later, you're driving down the road, your back's in pain, you're hurting, and somebody hits you, and you don't have any additional back pain, you don't have any additional injury to your back, your back pain is the exact same after the accident as it was before the accident, then you may very well not have any sort of a claim for any injury that was caused by that accident. And then the last thing that you have to have is damages. So again, I have people who come in and they were in an accident and it was a minor accident and they call me and I say, well, did you go to the hospital? No. Have you seen a doctor? No. Are you injured at all? Are you having any pain whatsoever as a result of the accident? No. Well, there you have an example of somebody who was negligent. Maybe somebody ran a red light and collided with your potential client. But if your potential client has no injury or no damages from the accident, then there's no negligence claim. So These are all things that are pretty simple for an experienced personal injury attorney to evaluate, but somebody with no legal training may not be able to properly evaluate these issues to find out whether there's a negligence claim. So I would highly recommend anytime you're involved in an accident that you call an experienced personal injury attorney to get the answers to these questions.